I'm super excited for Dallin to get his Speed UTV and for us to start making content with it. Like,
I'm trying to find a Diablo. I want to get a Diablo.
So we just watched the Robbie Gordon's comparison video, right?
I think we all about fell asleep.
Yeah.
Thoroughly car sick. I thought I was.
Yeah.
So should we go favorite parts of the video first?
Yeah, let's just go with
most important parts. Video. My favorite part is the Speed UTV jack. Now,
yeah, you were excited about
the only thing is I still don't think it'll get my tires off the ground with the Pro R, though. I was watching him jack it up, and I'm like, come on, get off the ground. I would love to just be able to take all my tires off in one freaking shot.
Yeah,
that does look cool. It might do it with it didn't do it with the 4-seater, but it might do it with the 2-seater, maybe.
Well, and they may have just placed it in the wrong spot. I think that part of it, too. But,
yeah.
Yeah, well,
that was my favorite
if you're
part.
buying it for your car, we may want to test run it on the Pro R because, yeah, I mean, jacks are a pain with the Pro R. That's for sure. So hopefully that jack is amazing. I had one back in the day on the farm, but it was like just, I don't know, it was a little simpler, but it was like easy, cheap. We had it for our ATVs. It was awesome. Yeah, you get the whole vehicle off the ground.
I need a jack where I can get the whole vehicle off the ground.
Yeah, they're out there.
$1,100 at Costco.
Yeah?
Yep. Actually, I don't know if it's tall enough for a UTV, but for a car, it works.
Done. We need.
Well, you'll have to check because that's
I'm gonna put it right in my trailer. I don't know.
Anyways, so that was your favorite.
That was my favorite part. Most important part is a tie between, when they jack the car up and the stance stayed the same, or the beadlock wheel allowing the A-arm to be longer, and how it tracks straight. How Robbie kind of like showed how it will track straight through the whole travel, through all of the travel. Yeah.
I mean, I have a feeling that's going to be Austin's number one point, my number one. Like, that is, I think, like, Speed's, like, that is where they are just nailing it right there and destroying everybody, whether it's Can-Am, Polaris, or the other guys, right?
Yeah, as much CAD as you do, as much CAD as you want to if you're an engineer, like, it doesn't match having the experience in building it more like a trophy truck where you're hammering these cars really, really hard through the whoops and everything like that.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed it on the track, at the track. I mean, I've gotten kicked side to side like constantly.
Yeah.
There's a ton of edges from the fact that we just don't groom it, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's running across rough terrain, and I mean, I've kicked side to side, up and down. Even with that amazing suspension, I'm still getting thrown around. So I think that'll be huge for that. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, the kingpin inclination, that was new to me. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research on it, but like everybody talks a lot about bump steer, and I think that he's just not using the buzzword bump steer. So I think we all kind of already knew about bump steer, and we knew that that's important.
Yeah.
Robbie is doing a wonderful job selling this and highlighting the strengths, and I gotta say, like, I've kind of always been sold on this. I've always been a little bit like, well, let's kind of see it first, but he really is doing a good job showing us, like, look, we made the control arms longer by doing this, and therefore we have less angle, less bump steer. The car's going to track better. Now, my big question mark is, like, we're using a Chinese motor here.
That's going to be...
Is it going to be reliable?
It's going to have to be determined.
Yeah, that's 100% up in the air.
Time will tell.
That's the biggest question mark.
We all make fun of, Chinesium from Harbor Freight. Is this, this really nice roll cage? It looks excellent. I love how they designed it, but is it made out of Chinesium, or did he, manage to source some good quality chromoly or, some sort of good steel?
Yeah. Now, I will say that they went over the cages pretty heavily, and they talked about how the Pro R cage is kind of, has an egg shape to it, and how the Speed cage is more square. Now, I had as you guys know, I had a double X, and I had the Speed roof, which I think that you'll like. The air scoop is nice, and it was a very similar cage, very boxy, very good field of vision. But this one, you get that A-pillar that goes all the way to the floor, and you get the intrusion bars stock. So it doesn't come on the Pro R, and for a Can-Am, you got to go up to the Can-Am RC to get that, and it's still just a bolt-on application.
Yeah.
And so this has a really nice cage in it, and even though it's plastic, it's still a pretty cool roof. I think you're gonna like it.
I will say, I mean, we'll see how long till Mr. Turbo Brian or whatever his name is wants to DQ the speed so he can make a cage for it. But at the end of the day, this car is going to be allowed to be in a lot more races out of the gate without having to do a thing to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pro R kind of started that way.
You have to get the window nets.
Well, if you buy the RG model, which I did.
Oh, you get
kind of specifically for that.
Yeah.
I got the window nets.
Nice.
Now I could have just bought the window nets with the LE, but I was also getting a couple other little things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, looking back, honestly looking back, now that I've seen all the different designs in the cars in person, I probably would have went with an LE and just did those add-ons.
Yeah.
I wasn't saving a ton, but I thought with a few other things in there, I thought getting the RG model would be a little bit better, but I do love the fact that you're like so customizing your color.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge orange fan. I'm gonna have a lot of orange.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of bummed on that. I should have just went with the LE, but I was kind of going bang for your buck because it's kind of like the Pro R.
And you got a good number.
Yeah, and I got a good number.
Yeah.
That was something they spent like 15 minutes talking about was the colors, and it's true the Polaris colors kind of suck. Like there's some cool colors, but you're really limited on choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they haven't really updated the choices that much.
In 23, they added orange.
Yeah.
And then I think they DQ'd like one car, so really they didn't even add another color technically because they got rid of one car, and then added an orange color to the 23. So yeah, I'll have to give them credit on that with all the colors that you can do if you do the LE model. I kind of just wish they would have just done that with the RG model too. Like of all the ones, you would think, okay, make us buy the RG model and we get our colors, you know.
Yeah.
Versus we're in a cage at the RG model where we only got 2 or 3 options.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to talk about the 2 least things that I didn't like about the video.
I'm going to be honest.
All joking aside. And even Robbie said, like, "Ugh, this video is way long. We should."
Yeah, he even regretted
this
it.
up. Yeah. So he knows that already. But I think the first worst part for me is that was not a stock Pro R.
Nowhere close to
No,
stock
not
Pro
even
R.
close. That guy had $12,000 or more in upgrades, and that's giving him a good deal. You know.
That was that like dealer pricing $12,000.
Yeah. He had seats and harnesses and iPad and light bars, extra bumpers on the back, all kinds of stuff.
Mirrors, pods.
Yeah. That was not,
tires, wheels.
Yeah.
Like the thing was like the farthest from stock I've seen in a Pro R.
And it didn't have live valve. It didn't have ride command. The stuff that.
Why would you spend that much money on a car doesn't even have the live valve? Doesn't even have the Dynamics DV.
Well, I mean, they put in a GPS system in that car that's going to be.
What happened to your iPad?
Well, it was a Samsung, but yeah, I mean, I spent the big money on the RAM mounts. I got the best mounts you could buy, and I mean, it's a Wagsy, it's a bouncy ride, but it flew right out the side of the car.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the first ride; it lasted a few rides, but
3 rides in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fortunately, Costco was willing to take it back under their no questions asked return policy. But
you got lucky there.
And that leads me to my second least favorite thing, the Speed UTV display. You can upgrade to a display on both sides, which I think is a really, really cool feature.
Yeah.
Those things, I mean, they're essentially, they have to be like Samsung iPads back there. Essentially they have to be tablets.
Yeah.
And that you can just toggle between the functions. Those things get laggy, they get glitchy, they need to be updated. I think, even after having Ride Command, and you've had it, I've had it, and our buddy Steve just had it, where you're turn on the car and you're like, hey, the screen's not turning on, and it gets glitchy. And so I think Can-Am, they're like, we're not going to do any of that stuff. We're just going to have this simple digital display. and let them deal with it, then it's not our problem. You know, because I think
which is a really big bummer of Can-Am. I think that's hurting them heavily to not have something.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that they don't need this double screen, million things, but they need something.
I would agree.
I really do think.
But after our ride command started glitching all the time, well, mine has only done it twice, but they're brand new cars. And I think the screens, I could be wrong, but 9 different functions. Now, they had some really cool functions where you can watch a video to change the belt and screen mirror your phone and all that stuff. But ultimately, that stuff, after going through water and dirt and sand and mud,
rolling
and power washing it and rolling it, I just see, I've had a lot of iPads, a lot of Samsungs, all of the tablets, and they get laggy, they get glitchy. You've got to update them.
They start out laggy in my experience too. Like I don't know. I led rides with my route on my tablet, but if I was gonna adjust the route, that was like forget it. Like yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, but that is probably my least favorite thing, or the thing that I anticipate being bad.
My only concern with that is because, that can happen. It's happened with my players, but I was able to keep riding. My ride command, my screen just went black for a little while.
Yeah.
It was telling him I was over here and I was over here, which was an issue, out at Sand Hollow. But it wasn't the end of the world. We found each other. It wasn't a big deal. But you also just have your gauges right there that, aren't tied into that.
They're kind of
so
analog.
You're just fine.
Or
right?
not analog, but very simple digital,
A simple digital setup. So I'm not too worried there, but I am a little worried there. Like, if those do go glitchy, like, what happens? Does it affect the car in any way? I'd like to know that.
Yeah. Time will tell.
There's no way. This is all ton of customers.
Yeah.
We'll see how things work out.
Yeah, it's all speculative, but I do love all the functions they had.
But there was some good stuff. I mean, the biggest thing is just the scrub. That's my number one that I like about it. And then
it looks beefy. Like, it just
looks beefy,
fast and beefy and well
scrub.
Like,
and then the CG. I mean, the center of gravity is crazy low.
The center of gravity is amazing.
Center of gravity, the scrub, and then the fact that it's just built. It looks like it's built pretty strong.
Yeah.
Those are 3 number 1 winning points. We just have to see if any of the other stuff is going to be a winning point, a selling point, or a negative.
I had similar doors on my Double X.
The door is a concern to me.
Yeah. And I never really had any problems with it.
It wasn't like starting to hang low and hard to shut ever.
Mm-mm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So then we probably are good. Cause, I mean,
and I really liked how it functions, and these function very similar. So
like the way they swing. I know you love the way they'll swing.
Yeah.
That is like your number 1 pet peeve, and it bugs me too. But like it kills you the way that the Polaris doors swing the wrong way, which is true. It is stupid.
Well, it's like when we're hauling our cars, and one of my doors open on the car. It's on the trailer. We got to stop. We got to run out.
We don't even know that it's open for how many miles.
Yeah. So it's just blowing the hinge out, Yeah. And if you've owned a Can-Am, the only thing that stops that from blowing all the way open is a little strap. And that thing pulls out like within the first day of owning one of those cars. So, it's really janky on the Can-Am, but I love that the door opens like a regular door. So if it flies open, the wind's just gonna shut it. Yeah. Now, the rear doors are suicide doors.
Oh, bummer.
The rear doors are suicide doors.
Ah, bummer. I forgot about that.
But,
why? I don't know why. I want to know why.
Probably because...
Why do we have to do these doors the wrong way?
Why do off-road guys like backwards doors? Because I know guys make a big deal about it. They're like, oh, the doors are...
There's somebody that likes that?
It's an
I haven't met anybody
thing.
that likes it.
I don't know anybody I think it's dumb as hell.
I would tell us in the comments if you like it.
Do you like suicide doors?
Is there a point to it, a reason why? I hate it.
Yeah, I hate the suicide door. I love my Double X doors. That's the one thing. Well, there was a lot of things I liked about that car. The one thing that didn't work about that car
is the speed and power and everything about that.
Well, not only that. I mean, that's a given, right? Okay, that's a given. But it had literally it had the same type of rear suspension, and when you hit that transaxle,
Gonzo.
that's what screwed up those cars.
You think this is gonna have a transaxle issue?
I don't think so. I mean,
Austin's got a point.
I got a point. The
What's your point?
reason you put backwards doors on off-road cars is you're rock crawling, you're trying to make it up, and you got to see what's my front tire doing. You can open the door and you can see. If it opened like a car door, you still wouldn't be able to see.
Dude,
it,
the
right?
Pro R doors were like
I'm just talking out of my ass here, but it's as good of a
Lean over with your neck. I don't know. You have a neck. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have a front camera on my car, so that's how I do it. But just put it out there.
The Bronco Raptor has a front camera. Everything has a front camera if you really care to mention about that.
The Bronco Raptor. Now, some of the off-road features of that thing are sick, man. It told them exactly where to turn the tires.
It definitely can't pull over that.
I don't know why people want suicide doors. We don't know why.
Tell us why.
Yeah, the reason why
We're amateurs here.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Some tacos. Let's get some tacos.
Oh, they did talk about the taco.
He does not like the taco gusset.
Oh my god, I love the taco gusset. That cracked me up.
Actually, we don't have a taco gusset. We got an A-pillar, you know.
Yeah. It does look a lot stronger. I'll give him credit. I mean,
It looks strong.
when Turbo Brian, sees one wreck at Glamis, is he going to make us have a different cage for a Red Bull race? I don't know.
I don't know.
But I'll tell you what, I'm done with Red Bull races because of the rule changing constantly.
Because of Turbo Brian.
Mainly, no offense, Turbo Brian, but rules change a week prior. I'm sick of the rules changing every single time.
It ain't fair. It ain't fair.
Especially when they're not giving out razors anymore. Like, I'm giving out just as much money at my private track race where there's 0 entry fee. And they have this massive sponsorship setup, and they're not even giving out that much. Speed UTV. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's cool. I think the one thing that's been different, I mean, there's been a lot of drama through this journey, but going through this journey with all these riders and everybody that has these cars ordered, and being able to have these side-by-side interviews with different people.
I'm super excited for Dallin to get his Speed UTV and for us to start making content with it. Like,
I'm trying to find a Diablo. I want to get a Diablo.
Do you think that we're idiots? we are not.
You might want to say that whole thing over.
We're not disputing that. We're idiots. Like,
We are idiots.
Yeah, I mean,
The majority of us are idiots on side-by-sides, and